What's up and good morning, guys? How are you? Alex here from Hoppos. I'm driving the Acme truck today. She's a little dirty right now. She's a little dirty. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. You guys probably have never seen a set of 13s that looks so big, right? Because everyone thinks I'm running 15s on here, but those are 13.7s with standard tire. Those are the 155/80 13s on there. What do we got on here? I think I got Remington. Yeah, I got Remingtons on there. But they look massive on this thing. Look at it. Got that thing here today. I actually been driving it for the last few days here, just because I gotta do a few trimming. We gotta machine a few things on those fenders, so I could get full turning radius on those tires. Plus, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna be chopping up that body anyways. So I'm just getting here right now, getting everything situated here. The guy's putting away inventory already. So late last night before we went home, we cut up a whole bunch of G-body arches. So those are all ready to go. They just obviously cleaned out the sheet and they're putting it away. And hopefully you guys liked that video on the 58, because the last video I just posted, because there's gonna be a lot of content on that, because there's just so much we gotta be doing to that. But today's video is gonna be completely different. It's not gonna be the 58. There's a few items or projects that we got to catch up on. They're like right there, they're almost done, but they quite haven't made it to the finish line yet, and that's what we're here for today. We're gonna get those things all done and dialed in and make them look pretty.
Fucked up again.
Really?
Like always.
Really?
I mean, what's up with this?
What's up with what?
Arches.
What's wrong with them? Those are G-body arches. Okay, Vic's trying to find something. YouTube. Vic, come here. People were saying I was being mean to you in the last video. Chion. I didn't fuck up. Somebody else here. But I'm not gonna say who. Here he is. So what was the problem, Vic?
Oh my God. We figured it out already without you.
What are you talking about? I just did it.
You're in the camera. We already figured it out. So we're on with the.
Hey, someone did ask about your car the other day, though.
What do they want to know?
They want to know when you're going to be done, because they're saying that you always talk crap about mine, but they say they never see you rolling anything.
Catch me on the weekend.
Yeah, La Llorona, ready to come out and play. All right, guys, let me show you what this video is really about, though, instead of Vic over here harassing me early in the morning. All right, guys, let me show you what is next. Obviously, you guys have already seen it because it's been on a previous video, but we're going to jump right back on it. We got to finish some tubing. And here she is. The part about today's video is the tubing is going to get done, but it's going to get done by Mike. No? You don't want to tube it? No? Vic tube it today. I don't know if you have enough tubing here for Vic, though. Just kidding, guys. We are not very far away from finishing this up, actually. So this one is actually a little bit different than I'm normally used to tubing. I'm very particular on how I like to tube things, and on this one I kind of want to change it up just because the setup itself was a little bit different than what we normally do. So I just wanted to kind of change my style a little bit on tubing on this one. I still kept a few of my normal elements that I like to do, like the very symmetrical lines here. I always like to create kind of a focal point when I do the tubing, but in this case I'm really not normally a fan of like these loop-de-loops like this. That's just me personally. Normally I like to do like 2 bends max to keep it very simple and clean, but on this one I wanted to change it up again, just because that's how I normally do all my tubings. I wanted to kind of just change the style up. So it's a little out of my comfort zone, so what better way to learn more and teach yourself more than to get yourself out of your comfort zone and just kind of do things that you wouldn't normally do. So that's what I'm gonna do on this one. So far it's looking great. I'm very excited on the way it's turning out right now. So we're gonna jump right back on it. Let me show you guys what we're at right now, and then kind of the idea of where I plan on going with this, and then from there hopefully we get this finished up. You see right here, you got your 2 dumps. So this is either going to control your front or your rear. Normally we like to do your front to the left, your rear to the right, but that's just us personally. But the way this is set up here, I don't know if you can see here, you're gonna have your main pressure in coming in from this side over here. I'll get you guys a better view, sorry. So you're gonna have your main pressure in coming, when I was saying through here, you're gonna come in through your gear and through here. You have your check right here. Actually, no, sorry, that's not your check. You got your check here and you got your check back there in between the dumps. I know it's a little hard to see just because of the way it's all tubed up and the way we tighten the fittings. And then you would have a pressure out to a cylinder, pressure out to a cylinder, and you're gonna have your return and your return. So being that we're only running 2 slowdowns and 4 dumps, we need to actually tee the 2 dumps back together into a single slowdown, which is gonna be here. Right now you can see I have this tubing already done going back. This one's already done going back. And the reason I did these 2 already was just because we have everything matching. I was trying to build up the symmetry, like the ways everything looks symmetrical. So now that that's done, my main goal is to pretty much get this guy connected to this one. I'm probably gonna do a bend back here and bring it over. Actually, sorry, this one connected to this one. And then I think I'm gonna swing this guy back around here. I normally don't like to think about planning tubing. I kind of like just to do tubing. So I kind of feel like it flows more naturally when I do it that way. But yeah, let's just get tubing. Man, Vic's just on a spree today. Look, he's just picking on everybody today. I walk up, he picks on me. Mike walks by, Vic's picking on him. It must be that time of the month for him. Almost up. So you're on low flow control right now. And before we just start rambling on, talking a lot, I know a lot of you guys have asked me in the past about tubing and how we tube and how we get our measurements and how we do all that. And I normally always answer the same way. There is a mathematical equation for tubing. You get your bending radius and you divide it, or your bending diameter, divide it by 2 to get your radius. And then you get your tubing and you divide that by 2 and you get your point. I don't like doing it that way, because obviously I can't even repeat it, so I don't even like doing it that way. Plus I'm horrible at math, but I could eyeball the crap out of something. So normally I'm able to get something very, very straight by eyeball. And I feel like, to me, that's an easier way to do it. Again, there's people that will do this by measurements. To me, I feel like it's not necessary. It's more excessive work when you could physically look at it and be like, oh, okay, I need to stretch it out 2 inches to get my bend here. And normally what I do is I like to have a few bend pieces, like samples, and I just keep these guys around. So I have like a little U. I just have a few little straight pieces here. I have a 90 here, and I do that just to kind of get me a reference point to build it off of.
Did it again.
So let me tell you guys, this tubing was kind of kicking my butt the last time I worked on this. But today, I almost don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx myself, but today is going like exactly how I want it to go, and it's working freaking great. I'm so excited. So the reason I'm doing a lot of the tubing the way I'm doing is because I wanted to debut and kind of showcase using our hardline clamps. So I'm like making it a fact to run the hardlines a specific way in order for me to use them. And I'm kind of overusing them just because I want to show it off. I think the hardline clamps are really, really cool. So, and also it helps sturdy up tubing as well, because some of these, because I have it floating on a piece of 3/16 and it's only like maybe a 1/4 inch of material on each side of it, so it's pretty thin. But when I start cranking on it, you know, they move. So with the hardline clamps, it's actually keeping it nice and solid. Let me show you guys up close. Originally I had it set up using a 2 and a 2 back here, which, I mean, this 30 is like a lot, like a big time. But I was trying to figure out how to get this tubing over, and originally I was gonna go behind this, but I'm like, it'd be really cool to use a 3 and a 2 back here and kind of show it off. So I kind of rerouted this, and it was really hard and tight to get this bend right here to actually get this to line up, but I was able to get it and then get these all nice and symmetrical too, and all parallel with each other. So I'm very excited. Again, this is not really how I would normally do my tubing. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone just to kind of do different styles of tubing. So this side's pretty much done here. Obviously I just gotta do a final tie in and get these all polished out. But now I'm gonna work my way over to this one. So I'm gonna mimic this tubing that I just did right here and get that on this side over here. So that's always the fun part. You're doing one with like multiple bends and crazy bends, and you're kind of just going on a whim and just doing it. To do the second one, you gotta match it. So I didn't really do measurements on this one, but I will figure it out some way. I normally use my 0, my 45, and my 90 marks, which I don't know if you're gonna be able to see them on here, but you see how I'm kind of marking my 0 bend and my 90 location with Sharpie. That's normally how I determine where my bends start and stop, and then from there I'll measure if I have to measure. But yeah, going through doing the whole measurement, subtract half the tubing to get the center, like, to me is just so complicated. For me, I just need it to look good. Obviously the tubing's gonna function, so it just has to look good, flow, and be appealing to the eye, because tubing could make your setup, but it could also break your setup. So that's one thing I don't want to do. So this setup is too pretty to break it. So we're gonna continue where we're going and continue time lapse. See you guys in a bit. All right, so we pretty much got all the tubing over here done, all the tubing over here done. Everything's looking nice and tight and looking really good. So the last two I gotta worry about are these two, which I didn't tighten yet because I just wasn't sure in which direction I wanted to point this at. So that's what I gotta figure out now. That's my last part. Gotta connect this guy over here to the bottom of this tank. Yeah, now it's just figuring out which way I wanna route this. Ideally, I would like to run these like this, kind of pointing out this direction. That way the tubing was very simple and clean here. But the only reason I don't think I'm going to do it this way is just because if you look down on these, how the gears are offset because of the way the shaft comes in. So if you look at it, this fitting actually sits a lot further back, and I think it's going to make it more noticeable that the fittings are offset, which obviously that's, you know, that's the way they come. But I think if I go this way and this way, and I bring my tubing similar to this, that I'll be able to actually loop this and be able to hide the difference of the tubing in here, but yet make it the same out in this direction. All right, this one kicked my butt a little bit here, but I was able to get this one here done. It was a little tricky just getting all the tubing to fit in here, obviously because it was a long piece. So this is actually my second attempt right here. The first one I actually came down a little too low on this fitting back here. I was actually about 3/8 of an inch off. So had to raise up my bend point a little bit up here, raise it up 3/8 of an inch, and then the second one fit in there perfect. So now we're gonna work our way over into doing this one, which this one's gonna be slightly different just because, again, we were talking about how these are actually offset just a hair. So same thing, this one took me 2 attempts. This fitting threw me off, but you look down the line now, they are both right there. So as far as the difference here as they come out, it's exactly the same. So this was a little bit tighter here. I don't know why, probably just because of the way the fittings are, but this one turned out really good. I'm very, very excited for it. These are all done. So I pretty much stand back now and look at all this all tubed up. Again, this is a lot different style of tubing than I normally do. It's a little more on the wild side. I normally like to keep it pretty simple. Like I said, two bends-ish. I'll sneak a third one in there, but I like the clean, sleek lines. This is very clean too. I like it. Again, I was just more testing my skills on this one. I wanted to try something a little bit different, push me out of my comfort zone just to kind of blend with this setup, because this setup is a little more out there than we normally would set up for a gravity fed. So very excited for this one. This one's looking good. Now we just got to figure out polishing. So we got to send this out to polish, chrome. Actually no, chrome's all done, just polish. So just polish the billet clamps, and we call it a wrap. Then we got to finish up the frame for this build. So still got a lot of work ahead of us, but as far as the setup, it is done. So in my books, I'm very happy for today, especially end off a Friday like this on a high note. I'm good. Guys, so let's go ahead and end this video off. I do appreciate you guys watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Hopefully you guys caught on to a few little tips and tricks that I use. Again, this wasn't really like a how-to video, but I just want to show you guys doing some of the tubing here. So thank you guys for always liking, sharing, subscribing. We're going to go ahead and end this video with a nice little montage. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'm out.